Okay, folks. Well, hello again. Welcome to the second trip in the series of hiking every trail and backpacking every trail in Olympic National Park, over 600 miles again for my second time, but this time on camera. So this trip was an impromptu quick trip that I decided to do last minute to Constance Lake, which is actually a short trip that I have not done before. I've done about 2/3 of the park, of the trails in the park before now, before this video series. But this one I hadn't done. It also leads up to Mount Constance Peak, which Mount Constance is actually, ironically, a mountain that I can just see the tip of from my house where I live, and so I'm looking at it all the time from my office, which is a very lucky thing. And so I think about it a lot. So I've always wanted to go up to the lake. I don't know, and I don't think I'll go up to the summit, especially being alone. So we'll see. I'm gonna head up the trail a little bit to see how far I can get and how rugged it really is. It is hikeable. It's not, I don't think you need any technical gear. So we'll see. But yeah, this is just an impromptu one to check it off the list, and for the series of hiking every trail. Hike every trail. Hashtag hike every trail in Olympic National Park again. So here we go, and I'll bring you along for the ride. This is Dosewallips River Valley behind me, and this is the Dosewallips road that leads to the trailhead. As you can see, there's not a lot of parking, so people are along the road here. So be aware of that when you come out. If you come anywhere, past the morning time, you're going to need to park on the side of the road. So there's not a lot of parking, but otherwise, really easy to get to this trailhead. And the trail itself is a little under 7 miles, so to the lake. So it's going to be a pretty short day. And I'm starting here at 1 o'clock. So early August. I think the sun sets around 8 p.m. So it should be fine. So I'll see you up there. And here's the car, and there's the kit, as usual. Last time I forgot my little sitting pad, which is, I don't know, an ounce, like super, got it off of a Garage Grown Gear. If you know that site, definitely check it out. That's the place to go for great ultralight and cottage industry backpacking gear. Thanks to my wife for that little sitting pad. So I did bring that this time, so I don't have to get out my chair and my pad, my inflatable thermarest every time I want a chair along the trail. So yeah, that's the ultralight kit as it is so far. Talk to you soon. So one thing about this trail is even though I need a permit to get to the lake, etc., I believe this is Olympic National Forest in the front country trail along the river for most of the trail until you basically get to, I think there's a Dosewallips campground area that I haven't been to before, though I've been to Dozy Forks. I'll explain that in another video. On the other side of this trail, but right across, right as you go up, when you start going up toward the lake and the incline begins and you climb, that's when you have crossed into the park boundary, the national park boundary. So this early section is all front country. I saw a lot of day hikers coming in, especially with their dogs. Dogs are allowed in national forests, not national parks, on the trails, so you're going to see a lot of that on this trail. So I left the trail on this little side trail here to come to the river to get some water. Pretty nice spot. Some people fishing down there. Still very easily accessible here, and the trail is really manicured and wide. There's a lot of offshoot trails like this that get to the river, so I can see why this is a pretty busy area. But yeah, super nice. So just came up over the from the road basically, and turns into trail here. But I came around the corner to this landslide. It's like a couple seasons old, but it keeps getting worse. But yeah, it's a pretty bad one. The trail they've maintained a little bit with the debris, but the river is right over there to the left. But yeah, that's a bad slide. Be aware. Yeah, it's not very often that you have a trail this close to the water like this. Usually trails are designed to be higher, much higher up, so you don't actually have access to the water like this, but it is kind of nice to be this close. The shore is literally right there. So you can kind of see where maybe the trail used to go, possibly until this. And this down, it's pretty rough and slippery sand. Somebody actually put a rope here to hold on to. So, you know, that's never a good sign. Well, I'm climbing a little bit here on the trail. Still pretty manicured and still in the Forest Service forest, but look at that pool down there in that rock. It'd be nice to get down there, but there's no way. Pretty cool though. Looks like really nice wading pool. But yeah, this is still front country, and the trail's been like this pretty much the whole time. So look at that log pile up. Remind you when the river is going full flow, what it can do. Okay, so to the first junction, I guess I'd say there's a dispersed campground here. I don't think we're technically in the park, but the boundary is probably that 3.94 miles, obviously, and then that'll head up to the lake. So maybe 2 or 3 miles in, I guess. And that looks like off to the left there is where the dispersed camping is. So we'll check and see what that looks like in a sec. Okay, so this trail so far definitely used to be a Forest Service road. It's graded like a road, manicured like a road, good for bikes. You know, not as interesting for hiking, but still beautiful, of course. But pretty flat with some gradual inclines because it was a road. So just know that the front country trail portion of this, which getting up to the lake is most of the trail, is going to be like this. So it's good for easy, you know, an easy hike, pretty flat and gradual ups and downs. So that's the good news, all the way to the park boundary, I think. But otherwise, yeah, it used to be, I think they closed it obviously a while ago, but it used to be a, you know, Forest Service road. So people could drive all the way up here at some point, probably long ago. This is what I would expect from being, for most trails being above the river. the river valley and gorge. It's pretty cut rock down there, but I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty far down. The river is way down there now. And again, here's the road / trail. And it's starting to get less tree coverage. Speaking of tree coverage, time to put on the sun hood. Yeah, it's starting to get hot and sunny. Yep, definitely a road. Check out this old bridge. Well then. Another marker. Ranger station, I guess, 1.2 miles. I don't know if we're actually going to go all that way, but break off earlier. There's also a gate up there for when it was a road. Fishing opens June 1st. Okay. We're getting there. Well, we made it to the cutoff. That's a nice new sign. There's some bikers who have gone up to the lake, left their bikes. I guess the ranger station's beyond this, but extremely steep, infrequent maintenance. Well, that's great. I think all of the ease of the first part of the trail I'm going to make up for now, getting up to the lake. I think it's quite a gain in maybe just a mile or so. I'll put the stats on that later. There's that bridge over there and some folks getting water. Well, we'll see. I'll head further on at another video, seeing that I need to do every trail. And this, continuing on this one would be one of them. Or I'll come from the other direction. Dozy Forks is that way. So we'll see. I'll see you up the trail. Seems like it's gonna be rough. Yeah, this is the trail. Filming this way, you can't tell how steep it is, but such as it is, it's in there somewhere. Huh. That gives you a good idea of how unmaintained the trail is. Probably average between 2 and 3 miles an hour in the first part of the trail, 3/4 of the trail, because it was a road. Now I'm probably gonna ratchet down to 1/2 mile an hour, I bet. Maybe a mile an hour if I'm lucky. But it's pretty rough going. We'll see. Yeah, this is barely a trail. A lot of down logs. Having to climb underneath that one. So it's a lot of slow work. But the lake's up there somewhere. Honestly, I'm more worried about going back down tomorrow. Yeah, but it's pretty steep. No wonder there were permits for this. When I was reading up on this trail, I read that it was notoriously steep, but I misunderstood that was this section. I thought they were more talking about after the lake, from the lake to the summit, which I'm sure is also steep, but this section from the main trail up to the lake is probably what they were actually talking about. And people probably assume they can do it in a quick day, so they're warning people off quite a bit, because this is not really a real trail. So a lot of scrambling and such. So be aware if you come up here. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to coming down this, and I don't like the looks of that. Those rocks up there, or maybe you call that a mountain. Hope I'm going around that, otherwise I'm turning back. But yes, I'm sure you can see there's on either side of it there's some blue, so I'm sure the trail moves over there. This is a little crazy. Yeah, I literally had to take off my pack and crawl under this log to get under there. There was another route over there, but this one looked better. And I'll fully admit I turned on my InReach Mini just in case I fall. But this is a little ridiculous. We'll see if it maintains this or not. Okay, folks, you can see the trail behind me, and it's not one. So I made the decision to turn around. I'm not going up to the lake. This trail is way too dangerous. At least right here. Especially solo. I've fallen before, and this one would be a much worse fall if I did this time. So I'm gonna make the executive decision and turn around. I heard some guys going up, and I think they went up this way. And it sounds like they're making progress, but to be honest, one false move, you can see this just dirt trail, and that is straight down. Can't really tell, but the lake will have to wait. I'll be honest, I don't know if I consider this much of a trail, so I don't know if this one counts. Maybe I'll do it another day. Try again, but I don't think it's a good idea this time. Maybe come with somebody else if I ever come up to the lake again. It's too bad. I've heard that it's a nice lake, but yeah, I think it's just too dangerous. Did you hear that yell? Yeah, for a solo, even getting down back to where I was is going to be difficult without falling. So I have my InReach on in case I need the SOS. Those guys are together, so that makes sense. Yeah, not this time, folks. Sorry. Pretty cool rock on the way down. Yeah, my feet keep sliding. As you can see, I've even put away my poles so I can use my hands because I'm needing to use them to grab onto things. So that's usually a bad sign as well. So I guess the lesson here is, you know, if you hike solo like me, which I almost exclusively do, you got to make calls like this because you're much, you know, you have exit strategies if you fall with somebody else. That's why almost nobody mountaineers or climbs by themselves. Only the ones who are a little bit wacky. But yeah, my wife would kill me if I kept going. So change of plans. See you at the bottom. Okay, you can see the bridge over there. This random tin can on this stump. So I made it back down, but man, are my quads on fire. So, change of plans. I do not recommend that trail to any solo hiker or backpacker. Maybe unless you have some gear and a helmet in case you fall. Because it's not a trail, it's a scramble. So you gotta be prepared. But yeah, a fail on that one. Again, misunderstood my research. I'll see you down there and we'll talk about the next step. Well, got some water under the bridge. I think the plan now is, obviously due to the nature of this series, I'm actually going to continue on to the Dosewallips campground that's up further up toward Dozy Forks. Maybe go all the way to Dozy Forks, we'll see. Obviously my permit was for the lake, so I'm a little bit, you know, going illegal now, I guess you could say. So if it's too busy there, I might actually just turn around, and this is a day hike, and come back, try to get back before dark, or hike in the dark. The black flies are killing me right now. So we'll see how busy it is up there, but I'll at least clock off more of the trail here, so I can check that off the list. And I actually have never done this stretch before, past here. I've been to Dozy Forks from the other side, so which is beyond Dosewallips campground. So maybe I'll get all the way there. We'll see what time it is. So I'll keep you posted. But yeah, failure on the lake. Sorry. Well, heading toward Dosewallips campground. Seeing some nice cliffs and some nice surprising things I wouldn't have seen normally. So, you know, silver lining. Actually, it looks like basalt. We saw in the last video. Maybe? Yeah, pillow basalt. Oh, nice. Look at that cascade. Is that the trail up there? Jeez. Maybe. Headwater to the Dosewallips River. So clear. So I hope we get closer to it. Wow, look at those cliffs up there. I guess that's where the lake is, up there someplace. Yeah, not this time. Holy cow. That is the trail. I wouldn't have seen any of this if I hadn't failed to go up the mountain. Okay, finally a regular trail. So we're up above the waterfall. I was wondering if the campground was going to be on the water or not, but that explains it because there's that drop off. So we should be more level to the water now instead of the canyon below. So let's see what it's like when we get there. Huh, there's a campsite down there with a picnic table even. So we're still a little ways to the campground, but maybe it's a very big campground. Wilderness campground, but still. So I'm gonna keep going, but that's a nice little spot, I guess. Empty. I've seen nobody. So we'll see. Well, there's proof of the road. 25 miles an hour. There's the trail. But here's the camp. You can see the privy right there. And the stock. Tying up stock here. Which I did see some horse poop earlier, so definitely people come in. It's pretty nice meadow though. I might actually keep going though. It's 5 o'clock, I think, so plenty of time. Pretty nice new one too. Fairly new. Good shape. That's the new design that has air between each plank. Much nicer than the old ones. So there's somebody over there. Looks like they have bear boxes. So yeah, let's take a look around a little bit more. This is right next to the campground. Nice, wide, flat, shallow. So nice. So this looks like the main camp. There's even fire pits. I didn't see any signs that say no fires, so we're still low, I guess, low enough. And there's, and then this is a side trail. I don't think this is actually the main trail. This must be campsites all along here. So this would be more privacy. Wow. Ah, here's a big group. Music as well. My favorite. Music in the wilderness. Just the worst. And bikes. So this one's a no. There she is. Very nice spot though. I don't know if you can hear the music, but man, people. Music in the wilderness is the worst. You're not getting a little side commentary, I guess. You're not giving the rest of the people here the choice to listen or not. So it's not my favorite. Especially if it's loud. That's what earbuds are for. So I think I'm going to continue on. There are some good campsite spots here, but I'm going to see if I can finish this trail, get all the way to Dozy Forks. I don't know. Looks like maybe another mile. And then I'll have this trail done, other than Lake Constance. So we'll see. It's 5:15 or so I should have plenty of daylight. And if I camp there, if there's spots, yeah, then out tomorrow. So you can tell this used to be car camping. There's bear lockers. See that one behind me over there? So they drove those up. Wilderness camps wouldn't usually have those. Bare wires, bare poles. But most of the time, backcountry wilderness won't. Of course, the 25-mile-an-hour street sign gave it away too. So it also means you can ride bikes all the way here too. So that changes, changes what the camps are like. I think that's why I like the subalpine and alpine camps. Is it's just more remote, fewer people, and it's work to get up there. You can't drive or take a bike up like the last trip. So that's why I wanted to get up to the lake. Not this time. See, they even have a bike rack up here. This looks like an old foundation. Oh yeah, restrooms. Tile, see the tile? These are all restrooms. There's water and everything. So this is the main trail again, I think. I wonder when they close this up. Interesting. Definitely not a sign you see up here anymore, unless it's car camping. So these must have been side trails for people to hike around while they were car camping. There are a lot of campsites here. Not a lot of people though. So I'm not sure if this is the main trail again or... Yeah, this trail is not what I expected, but interesting nonetheless. Yeah, see, this is a little loop trail for day hikers if you're camping at the campground. There's even a little information box or permit box. So, yeah, it's funny how some of these camps, they get cut off from cars and what they change into over time. It's kind of interesting. Okay, here's the cutoff back to the loop. Dozy Forks this way. Up there. I forgot about the ranger station. I didn't see one. I'll have to look on the way back. Yeah, so I don't think we're that far from Dozy Forks, so we'll see how it goes. Nice little cascade stream. It's cooling off quite a bit too. You can feel the breeze. Okay, here we are, the junction. Hayden Pass, which I haven't done, though I was right below it on my big loop, which I'll go over in another video. The 5x5 route, I called it. So I forget the meadows that I was right below, but I went over Lost Pass instead of Hayden Pass. But Anderson Pass I've been over a couple times. And that over to the left leads to Dozy Forks, which is just down by the water. And then of course Dosewallips Road is where we just came from today, out that way. So yeah, so I've been at this junction before on that big loop. That was an 8-day, I think 121 mile, 20K gain trip. So yeah, I'll go over that another time, and in fact, I guess we'll replicate that trip. But I'll see you at Dozy Forks. Oh, also, check out this note that is there with this nice leaf. I don't see that very often. Interesting. So this is not dated. And anytime you write a note, you should date the note. I don't think it's dated. Now, JML, we are camped at Dozy Forks in our favorite campsite on the river bend where we camped in October of 1986. Wow, I hope JML got this. I wonder how old this is. Maybe I will meet these people. I guess that note is one way to do it, the old-fashioned way. When I changed route, I actually used my my InReach Mini to contact my wife via SMS, which, you know, sometimes you run out of batteries, so it's not always reliable, but it is nice to be able to communicate with people that way. That's another alternative, but hey, writing a note, leaving it behind a rock, that can work too. Made it to Dozy Forks on the bridge. Amazing pool down there. Headwater to the river, basically. And this is a real legit bridge up to Anderson Pass that way. And yeah, look at that. Very nice. Down below the bridge a little bit. Look at that pool. You can't even see the bottom. Well, this is runoff. So there's this spot here The irony of this spot is actually when I was here last, on my way up to Anderson Pass, I stopped here and ate lunch, literally on that log. So this is actually a pretty good spot. There's actually a big group of people right over there, counselors and like 5 kids or something, and they're doing kind of a loop from Deception, I guess, to Dosewallips. They're gonna try to do Constance tomorrow. So I told them I turned around, but you know, they have youth on their side, so I'm sure they'll be fine. People were doing it for sure in you know, in groups, but by myself I was just too nervous. I had a fall not long ago, so made me a little gun shy on that. On the other hand, this is also a nice one, but it is quite big for just me, especially if I cowboy camp. It looks clear, which I'm probably gonna do. So yeah, maybe this is it. Right down there. At a nice distance from the kids. I don't know if you can see the bridge over there. So, yeah, this might be it. I don't remember this one. Looks empty. Gotta keep these doors closed though. There you go. It's one of the new ones too. Nice. Apparently no bear wire though. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna stay. I'll set up camp. I'm gonna go down and get some water in a second, but the plot thickens on the note. So as I arrived, that big group with the kids over there, I don't know, they're Boy Scouts or some group, a couple adults, 2 or 3 adults, I guess, and 5 kids. But anyway, this one guy came up to me and asked me if I was John. And I said no. I assumed that note, JML, the J stood for John. But apparently John, who also has a green pack like me, and so he's like, hey, your friends went up to Anderson Pass and they wanted me to tell you that they continued on, this John person. But nobody's seen John, and John has not arrived. And apparently John is not JML. That note was there before these other people gave that message to this guy. So this guy was delivering the message to John, not JML. That's the only other group here, so that note is old. Folks, if you write a note, physical note, put the date on it and put the time on it, because otherwise people just assume JML was out here wandering around forever, since 1986. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't know. There's John out here, some other John with a green backpack who's not with his friends, and they have moved on to Anderson Pass. So there you go. Again, it's always good to soak your feet at the end of the day. Ooh. Ay, ay, ay. It's good for swelling, and that is cold water. Holy cow. Yeah, but look at this. Look at where we are. Amazing. Sitting here soaking my feet. When you leave your camp, don't forget to bring your food with you, just in case some critters. And did a little bit of a quick sponge bath, but it's not too bad actually. And the mosquitoes are actually fine, barely any. Okay, camp set up. Still getting used to how to actually film it. I'm gonna sit there and read and eat. A little bit close to my camp, I guess, but there's bed. Looking good. That's the trail over to the water. But otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty nice spot. 7:30 right now, so it looks like clear skies. So looking pretty good. Chad, having a little bit of a meal. Yes, I am far too close to my bed, but I think it'll be okay in this case. I'm not eating that much actually, so should be fine. And as you know, my permit was not for this campground, so it was for Lake Constance. So rangers, if you're watching, I apologize. I had to improvise and redirect. But if the camps were full here, I would have turned around and gone home. But as it is, there's only one group here, so there's probably about 4 more camps open. So yeah, a little bit of illegal permit use, but under the circumstances, I think it's going to be okay. Okay, the sun has set and the camp is set. So yeah, this is a pretty regular camp. Nothing too fancy other than its location is amazing and the water is right there. So it'll be good white noise for sleeping tonight for sure. Should get some good sleep. Hopefully no critters bother me. But yeah. Pretty good. Decided to take a little evening walk. There's the bridge over there. I'm on the other side. Just a little jaunt toward Anderson Pass. I remember that lake very well. And the campsite I had at the top of the pass I was by myself there. It was very cool up there, so I'll show you that sometime in the future. I leave you with this. Well, all bundled up. I'm going to do a little reading. Still light. Almost 9, I think. And then, yeah, we'll tuck in for bedtime soon. Okay, folks. Good night. And yeah, we're all tucked in and cozy. And it's actually pretty warm, so I think I'm gonna be hot tonight. No rain so far. Seems okay. All right, folks. See you in the morning.